For the past week, Ferguson has been one of civil unrest, trouble that led to a state-ordered curfew that began overnight.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
For much of the evening, hundreds of people lined one of Ferguson's main streets, loudly but peacefully demanding justice. But as heavy rains moved through and the deadline drew nearer, many left. Only a core of mostly young people vowed to stay, despite a heavy police presence and a midnight deadline.
At 12:01, we'll be here. We get the same ammunition you got. We live.
In the same crowd, several groups did their best to convince angry protesters to not confront police.
Let's go get some rest for the fight.
You are violating the state-imposed curfew.
But an hour into the curfew, police moved heavily armored equipment and combat-ready officers into position. Authorities say they had received a report of armed men in a restaurant, spotted a man with a handgun, and received the report of a gunshot victim.
I realize much of what I'm about to say will fall on slightly deaf ears, but it has to be said. And the fact it won't reach everybody is not a testament to the content, more about what we as a nation and a people have allowed ourselves to become. How we choose to deal with problems in the workplace, home, in the streets, and while we can never seem to get anywhere in solving problems, no matter how many years go by, no matter how many interventions are held. One of the places we need to start is where only facts reside. No hyperbole, no ranting, no partisan politics, and no color. For the sake of this comment, let's for the moment agree on one thing. Whether you believe this or not, let's start here. It is impossible to 100% understand what life is like in another person's shoes. Color, race, creed, religion, sex, take your choice. But that doesn't mean we can't try. It doesn't mean we can't exercise our minds and at the very least seek to understand and then try to grip that reality. And when it's something we don't understand nor agree with, at the very least try to reason with it. And that reasoning begins with doing everything in our power. No, wait, let me amend that. It begins with stopping this ridiculous, useless, mindless, and completely senseless manner of trying to talk about problems by obfuscating and sidestepping the issues. Here on MidPoint yesterday, the debate was joined between commentators T.J. Walker and Alan Hayward with a focus on Ferguson, Missouri. The topic was specifically about people, Al Sharpton to be example. These the people who always have a plane ticket at the ready to come and speak where the TV cameras are and use tragedy to their own, often monetary advantage. Do we really need people coming in from out of the area, such as the Sharptons, the Jacksons, and others, to come into an area here? Because they always come in, and I'll be fair, they always come in saying that they wish to remain calm and they wish to bring calm to an area, but do they always do that? John?
Well, you can say you wish to remain calm and still not be calm. You can say things that are still incendiary. And the more this becomes an ideological battle and about deeper and bigger issues, the further away it moves from what actually happened and the individuals that were actually involved.
And you're awfully selective. I don't hear you so upset about Richard Nixon going on the law and order theme in his campaign in '68, essentially.
TJ, let's be honest here. We're talking 1968 to 2014. Please, 1968 to 2014. Let's stay on where we are right now.
What's that?
TJ, let's not go 1968 to 2014. Let's stay on now. Isn't that fair?
Okay, let's talk about Benghazi. Here's a tragic situation where a couple of Americans were killed, and every single political demagogue on the right tries to make hay, tries to cash in, tries to do phony books and videos on it, cashing in on human misery. It's utterly sickening, and yet you don't list them. You only want to pick on the Al Sharptons and the Jesse Jacksons. It seems highly
selective. Well, because we're not talking about Benghazi at the moment. We are talking about Ferguson, Missouri.
You're talking about specifically politicians and political factors trying to cash in on tragedy, and I'm giving you a very recent tragedy of Benghazi.
A discussion about the issues in Ferguson, Missouri only becomes a discourse on Nixon in '68 and Benghazi. Smoke and mirrors, a sideshow, talking past the issue at hand and seeking to color it with personal agendas, politics, and bordering on rhetoric. How can we expect to solve anything if we don't focus on each issue, explore it intelligently, and talk about that without all the flotsam and jetsam? Simple answer, we won't. We can't solve anything until we stop wasting our time and our breath to focus on the individual issue, the reasons and facts that surround it, without trying to fill the space with whatever else is handy just for the sake of filling airtime. Stop wasting time, America. We've done enough of that already in places like Ferguson, Missouri, and beyond. And that is telling it like it is. MidPoint continues right here on the Newsmax TV network.